Welcome back to Mascot Media Video YouTube channel. My name is Gilbert Angonye. My job is to make the web development simple and easy for you in this generation of IT so you can start and finish building your web project. If you value this video, enable to give it a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. It goes a long way to growing our channel and to make sure that you never miss out of any new updates. I'm here today to present to you Element in HTML5. Our last tutorial on Element was an introduction to Element, but today I'm here to give you details of what an element is. So let's go to the tutorial. Element. If you look at my page, you look at my screen, you'll see that there are some things that are displayed, and they are the things I am handling this time around. This is a normal page if I've ever been on a web page before. This is a normal page you see, which as a developer, these things don't show at the browser, but they are very, very important in web development. HTML is a major topic to be handled when it comes to web development. HTML is very important in the development of web. And if HTML is important in the development of web, Element is more important than that. When we're talking of Element, we may not understand what it's all about until we get into it. And that is why I'm here today. In this topic, I'm not going to teach it as a programmer. I'm going to teach it like a teacher. I'm going to detail it. I'm not going to jump anything. I'm not going to jump any single thing when it comes to Element, because anything we're going to do in future on this very course, HTML, on this very course, CSS, on this very course, web development, anything we're going to do will totally depend on what we're able to achieve in Element. If we get it right, that will say that web development will go freely. But if we don't, we will definitely have a problem. That is why we have to be careful with Element. If you look at the screen, there are things you see on the screen. I have to type these things so as to save our time, because if I start typing them here, definitely get some minutes wasted on them. So I have to get them earlier on before starting this video. So you can pause the video if you want to type, then take your time and type them. But you have to listen to what I want to say. It's more of explanation. In this section of the video, all I'm going to do will be here. I can do some typing for my explanation to go down, but all that you are seeing at the screen happen to be the things we are going to discuss right away, which we call head section elements. We call them head section elements. So let me take my into and head section element. Then if I'm to see them at the browser, you can see them there. So most of the things we are going to discuss in this section will be these things you are seeing right here. I also have to let you know that this topic is element, but because of how crucial, how important it is in the development of web, I'm going to join it with attributes. Not that I'm explaining attributes here, but here for me to explain this element very well, these attributes here must also be explained. Attributes should be attributes should be the next major topic to be handled. After elements, the next you study in series should be attributes. These attributes will be explained very well, but I'm going to explain them here too. I'm going to explain these ones on the head section elements very well. I'm not going to ship them to attributes. I am going to explain them here. So if you go to attributes, you may not see them. If I remember it, I also make reference telling you or directing you to come and see the explanation in elements. Because if I want to ship them to elements, that means when we get there too, I still have to mention the elements and the attributes. So since element is the first one, I have to explain these elements and the attributes right here. All right. So if you look at this thing I have on the page, they are the normal things we normally see at the head section. When we're talking about head section, this is HTML page. It's a web page from beginning here to the end. Look at it here. You have the doc type. I want you to look at these things I have on the screen here with colors. You can have how many colors? This is 1, 2. I have 3 colors. Then the white one is the 4th one. The white one is my text. I put it the way I want. And scatter, I can put any language. I can put any how I want. This white one, you can see the 2 lines. This one on head 2, this other one in title. It is mine. It's my choice to be yours too. But these other 3 colors you see here is the language, the HTML framework brought these things, and you must obey them that way, just like I have obeyed them. If you don't obey them the way they are, then you're definitely going to have error in your code. But for the white one, you see this one head section elements, you can put anything, you can remove, you can do anything you want with them. You can put your name there, you can put my name there, you can even decide to put the name of anyone. But these other 3 colors, that is why we are here today. The first one there is the doc type, and the last one has always been HTML. Then inside this HTML, you can see this HTML and this HTML. This HTML here is called the opening tag. Then the HTML down here is called the closing tag. Then inside this HTML, the opening and the closing tag, there's another element called head. So you can see the doc type, you can see the HTML. This HTML is an opening tag. It has an closing tag here. Then inside the HTML, you have the head element. This head tag now has a closing tag here to open and close. They will have under the head we have body. If we click on the body, it has opening and closing tag. Just like this head 2 you see here has opening and closing tag. So we want to take a look at all the elements from the first line to the end where we have head. That is the area we are looking at in this section. I'm not going to concentrate on this body for now. Much later, after this, then we'll go to another tutorial that will introduce us to the element that are seen in the body section. Right now, we are considering the element that are seen in the head section. I hope you understood my explanation. So I would like you to follow me step by step. I will not forget to tell you that all these elements in the head section, they are not normally seen at the page. At the page, you can see head section elements. If I'm to maximize this, you also see where at the title here, you see head section element. I hope you can see it. All right. So at the title here, you can see the head section. Head section is the title. This head section element came from somewhere. Where did it come from? That is this title you have here, head section element. This other one you see there, this one you are seeing boldly here. Hope you can see it. Hope you can see it. That is this one you are seeing here. So if I'm to comment it, that's removing it technically, and I save, it disappear. Look at that page. There's nothing you can see in that page. Whatever I did here is called comments. We will see it on the element if you don't know what it's all about. Now, on these elements here, they are not seen at the page. Then what do they do? How important they are? Can they be omitted? These are the questions that someone will ask. Since they're not being seen, they cannot be seen. If you remove them, you've not started a web page. So they are there. That's why we'll have to take time to ensure that they are explained. So the first one there is the doc type. Before I get into it, I want to explain to you these colors. The first blue color, the first one, we are the doc type, HTML, head, meta. You see that color? They are the main elements. Sorry, they are the element, please. They are the issues that we want to handle in this very topic. After that, there are other words inside them. Like here in lang, in HTML, you can see lang equal to, then ing, that's US. Okay. This from lang here to the end is called attribute. But for me to talk about attribute, I will definitely explain the element. So let's go straight to the first one, which is doc type element. I hope you can see it. Doc type element. The HTML doc type is used for specifying which version of HTML the document is using. This is a web page I'm writing. I want to tell the browser, I said, look, the type of HTML I'm using is HTML5. That is why this thing is like this. Browser, anytime you see this thing, please give me interpretation of HTML5 and it will accept it. Every element I'll put inside this page, every attribute I'll put inside this page will definitely be a HTML5 element and attribute. X, there will be error. If there are old elements that are used in other versions of HTML, which I've seen, probably turn to red. So it is referred to as the document type declaration. This doc type in capital letter, then HTML in small letter. That's what I call DTD, document type declaration. It does not have an end tag. If you look at the initial I told you, if you look at this HTML here, down there you see HTML. As I highlight it, you see head here, down here you see head. If you see body here, down here you see body. This one here, doc type, has no closing tag. It's just that one you are seeing there. It doesn't have an end tag, so we can call it an empty tag. All HTML documents must start with a doc type declaration. The declaration is not HTML tag, but an information to the browser about what document type to expect. Tells the browser, say, look, this is what you are supposed to expect. And if you didn't see it, please, through an error, expect HTML5 version of elements, attributes of whatever I use here. So if you didn't see it, if I use lower versions, please, through an error. That is exactly what this thing does. So doc type tells you HTML. In this format, that is HTML5. I think I'm true with that one. Then let's go to the next one. The next one is HTML. The next one is HTML, and this HTML has HTML here. The HTML has what we call what? Opening tag and closing tag. And if you look at the element HTML, that's the only thing there. Inside it, there's something. That thing you see there, which is this, is an attribute. Hope you can see it very well. After the doc type, that is the HTML. Inside it, you have the lang. This lang is an attribute. We have property attributes and value attributes. This is the lang is a property attribute and the language there. So it is the document root. It is the recommended place for specifying page language. This HTML is the right place recommended for specifying page language. When we're talking about page language, is that to tell you for you to say ing there is English. There are other languages. Ing there means English. If you are writing any language, I'll give you a link that will help you get what you want. So this link can help you to get what you want in the languages that you are writing about. Any language you want to write, you can get whatever you want on this link. It's here, it's clear there. You can easily see it and get it straight where you are confused. So the HTML lang attribute is used to identify the language of text content on the web page. It takes an ISO language code as its value. ISO, that is the International Organization for Standardization. So that link there can help you achieve what you want. But someone may ask a question of why we declare language in HTML. Not much, but very important. It is important for accessibility applications such as the screen readers and search engines. The search engines good at using that. The accessibility applications, that's what we call the screen reader. Screen reader is a form of assistive tech which reads text and image content as speech. It is vital to people that are blind, visually impaired, illiterate, or people that have learning disabilities. The screen readers will be there to help them. So when you don't put the language, you have a problem. You have created a problem for some set of people, and that will be inappropriate. Your page will not validate when you don't put the lang attribute. It's very important for accessibility applications and search engines. It is needful. So I'm sure with that. Then let's go to head section properly. Look at these elements and attributes here. Let's see what we have and what we can get from them. We have to consider the elements that are seen at the head section of the HTML page because of their importance. You can't just start writing web pages without knowing what they are, what they can do for us. The head element, the opening and the closing tag is a container for metadata. When we're talking about metadata, we are looking at data about data. It is a data. Metadata is a data that provides information about other data. The purpose of metadata is to help applications, websites, and databases find and work with relevant data. So we can rightly say that HTML metadata is data about HTML documents. It is not displayed, cannot see it, they can be seen at the browser. It typically defines document styles, title, links, script, and other meta information. That's what this head does. So I would like us to take it step by step, one by one, if possible serially or anyhow I would like to go. I want to promise you that I will explain all of them. Let's start from the first one, meta. Meta is an element. I will explain the element and at the same time explain the attributes. There's no way I would like to split them and push them elsewhere. They are together, and let's finish everything in the head section and we're through. The meta. If you look at the screen, you see that there are many metas. We have how many here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 metas here. There could be other ones out there, but I decided to pick up these 7, probably to see what I can do with them. So the first one is meta as an element. The attribute is charset. That's the character set. They will have the UTF-8. How will they with the attribute? And if care is not taken, you may realize that what we have, the issue we have here is the attribute, not just the element, because the element is just a name that is carrying something inside. And whatsoever is carrying inside is what determines what the element will do. If you don't understand what I'm saying, look at here, we'll have like how many? We counted 7 elements, which is meta, the same thing, meta, just one meta, but the content is what differs. We have different attributes. That is to say that it is the attribute that determines what the element will do. Attribute determines what the element will do. If that's okay, let's go on. So the meta charset UTF-8. UTF had to do with Unicode transformation format. So the UTF-8 is an encoding system for Unicode. It can translate any Unicode character to a matching Unicode binary string and can also translate the binary string back to Unicode character. So that's all I can tell you about UTF or Unicode transformation format. There's not much, but this is the encoding that we use, UTF-8. There could be other ones out there which I know there are, but the one we use in HTML5 is the UTF-8. That's the one we use. So the next we see is the meta, the same meta as element, but different thing as the attribute. Here we have HTTP equivalent, then SUA compatible. Then the content there will have Internet Explorer equal to Edge. So this meta attribute explain the HTTP equivalent attribute. The HTTP equivalent. So this very attribute, HTTP equivalent SUA compatible, is an attribute. The attribute lets you to send additional information to the browser in the HTTP header. So the meta attribute explained the HTTP equivalent attribute. The HTTP equivalent attribute is used by servers to gain information about a page using the HTTP header. Hope you get that right. This attribute is used by the server to gather information about a page using the HTTP header. The attribute lets you to send additional information to the browser in the HTTP header. That's this function. So the SUA compatible is a document mode. It's a document mode meta tag that allows web authors to choose what version of Internet Explorer the page should be rendered as. Then we'll get to the next one, which is name viewpoint. They're all meta element. That's why I told you that is the attribute that determines what the element will do. If you go down again, you see link. We have 2 links there, or even more than, but the attribute differs. If the attribute differs, that means that these attributes are the determinant. They tell you what an element will do. So here we have a meta with a name attribute and value attribute to be viewpoint. Then up there you have content as a property attribute, then with a name attribute of width equals device width, initial scale equals 1.0. A meta viewpoint element gives the browser, this very element gives the browser instruction on how to control the page dimension and scaling. This text you see here, which is width equals device width, it sets the width of the page to follow the screen width of the device, which will vary depend on the devices. All handheld devices, they differ in size. They differ in size. They don't have the same size. Tablet don't have the same size. Computer screen are not the same. So this is the attribute that say, look, see the size. So pattern everything. Tells the browser, say, look, pattern everything based on this size. If you remove it, then try and see what you see. So device equals to device width. Initial scale 1.0. So that's what we see here. The next we get to will be the same meta with attribute, property attribute of name. Then let's look at the description. It's trying to describe something for us. The meta name description is an HTML element that summarizes your web page. It gives a brief summary of a web page. A page meta description tag is displayed as part of the search snippet in a search engine result, and it's meant to give the user an idea of the content that exists within the page and how it relates to their search query. Search engines typically show the meta description in search results. Still have to tell you that Google does not use the meta description as a ranking signal. Still, it has a massive effect on your CTR, that's on your click-through rate, because it shows up in search results. So this is very, very important. The content, the name is description. Remember here, the name is viewpoint. Hope you see what is going on. The name here is viewpoint. Viewpoint tells you what you see on your screen, what you see on your device. But here, the name is description. It describes what you will have in your page. Here we'll have free web tutorials on HTML, CSS, PHP, and JavaScript. That's the content of the description. And let's go to the next one because of our time. The name is keywords, and you have the content there. HTML, CSS, HTML, JavaScript. That's the content of that keyword. It defines keyword for search engines. Keywords. When you want to search, you search HTML. It is not this first one that tells you, it is not the first one, the first one description is the keyword. When you drop keyword on a search engine, say CSS or JavaScript or PHP, is this very meta, these very elements are serving the user. Meta keywords are a specific type of meta tag that appear in the HTML code of a web page and help tell search engines what the topic of the page is. They are distinguished from regular keyword because they appear behind the scene in the source code of your page rather than on the live visible page itself. You have seen them and that is their function. Remember, we are here to tell you the functionalities. I'm not leaving any stone unturned. We are here to tell you the functionalities of these elements and attributes. I wanted to separate them, but I realized that I cannot split them. They are together. They are interwoven, and I have to bring them out like that for you. Let's see, the next one is name author. The first one, meta name, was viewpoint, followed by description, then keywords. They all have their content if you look at them very well. The next one is author. I don't think I have more to say about this, just the author of the website. If you are developing a website, you happen to be the author, so you put your name there. My name is Gilbert, and that's why you have it there. So it's simple. Meta author tag defines the author of a page. It declares the author of the HTML or the XML document of a website. An example is the one you have. An example is the one you have here. The author is here. The name can change. You can put your name. I remove my own, then you can put your name. Remember, I told you that these things are not being seen at the browser. Because of my time, the next one is refresh. HTTP equivalent refresh content. Put it there on your page, refreshing in seconds mention. Taking time to explain this meta, the other meta, and that meta, and not the rest of them. Let me move down to link. Link, I have two here. There could be others, but let me just take these two. Get what they mean, and any other one will be easier for you. The relation here, that's the real, means relation. It's an attribute. Link is the element. Then the real here, which is relation, is an attribute. Property attribute, and the value attribute is style sheet. That is our CSS. Sorry we didn't write more today, but we have gotten something. As the style sheet is CSS. That's the one we're using. And this is the name of the file. The href is the hypertext reference. The hypertext reference, that's the href. We'll see this in attributes, and we use it in a lot of things. Like links, you will come across it in links. We use it in our web, and we use it in our pages. This is the name of the file you want to link, style.css. So you are the owner of this very one. The .css is an extension name. You must put it. This very one here is your own. Other ones is owned by the computer. is owned by HTML. Don't ever try to omit any of them. But the name of the file could be anything. Could be your name, could be on what you are building. And the next we see here is the other link. The relation is ICO. You can put an image. Most times in web, you come here, you see an image. If you look here, you can see this. As we continue, you along the line discover that you will not see this again. We can put an image. We'll put an image here, your logo, the logo of the company you are building. If you go to web, you see here, you don't see this. There's an image that is always here. That's the ICO image. So that's where you put the relation. And this is what the image will be. This one is in a folder called image, a directory called image. Inside it, you see the favicon. That is the image.jpg. Put it here and it goes in every browser you open in that page. The next we see is script. I don't have much to say about this. This script is where we put our JavaScript. It's where we put our JavaScript. Probably if you have any JavaScript, you have to link it here. It's probably in another folder. Then you link it inside this place. All right. The next I would like to get into will be base. There are two here. Actually, they're not supposed to be two. It's only supposed to be one in the head, not two. So please, let's be careful about it. If you look here, you will see the base element, the href. The inside href as the property attribute. Then the value attribute is an address, the web address, which you know very well. http www.w3schools.com. I'll give credit to them. Here, after this, I want to assume you've not learned anything about HTML. Based on that assumption, I have to explain this. This is an attribute. Target is an attribute. It's doing something important. It means that anytime you open a page, it should open in a blank page. Look at it here. Blank. Anytime you open a page, it should open in a blank page. If you're not seeing, let me zoom a little. So what it means that anytime you open a page, it should open in a blank page. That is what this target is all about. That's what the target attribute does. Like I said, you cannot use two base elements in a single web page. But I knew why I put it. This one is online. This one you see now is online in the internet. But I'm on localhost. This is the address where I'm in on localhost. You'll get to know what I mean by localhost probably when we get to PHP. But for now, just be enjoying it and be using it. So what it's doing is this. What is the function? That's the question. Remember what I'm doing here. I'm here to teach you about the functionalities. In the first topic I handled your element, I told you that I'm not there to tell you about the functionalities of this element. But here today, I'm here to tell you the functionalities of this element. So please, they're not supposed to be two, but because of what we're doing, that is why we have them two here. One is for online. If you're online or you're about to take your program, the project to online, you have to use an online address. But for now, we're on localhost. So if you look, both of them, they don't have targets. Two of them cannot be in the same page. Should I use this? So we are not on localhost now. Here, let me comment this and I save. For example, I have something like this. I have an image. Okay, let's, for example, let me show you how this base is being used. I've commented this online on. Let's use this one. Here, wherever my file is, that's the address. Then inside wherever it is, I have this folder called image. Inside the image, there could be some, inside the folder, please, inside the folder, there could be some images. Now, let me show you something. IMG, this is our image tag. Then I have this image here. Inside the folder here, there's element. Inside, I have a HTML5. Then let me put alternate, maybe HTML5 logo. HTML5 logo. You can stop with that. Let's look at it. That's our browser. We have this image, but let me put some weight, some style, say 45. So that's the width. Then the height is another maybe 50. I save. You can see the image. Hope you can see it. That's the image for you. Now, let's say I have another one. Copy this first. I have a break tag. This is an element, a break tag, give us break up and down. I also have this. All right, one is up, one is down. Let me still go back to that folder and pick up a different image. Have this image here. Then take up sample and I save. I've seen these two images. Here, I want you to look at this. Here in the base, in the href, I told this page, say, look, go to this my page. Inside it, you see an image. If inside it, you see a folder called image. Then inside this image, that's where I told the browser, say, look, I'll put all my link, I'll put all my images, and the browser got the message. So here, instead of declaring this message, this image and this, what I will do is I will assume that I've done that in the base. I remove this, and let me not remove this. Okay, I remove this too, then I save. If you look at the browser, the image is still there. This is not a direct link, but because I've told the browser, say, look, up here in the base, this is where you look for all the images I'm going to give you in this page. Any page, even if it's 200 pages that I use this head, and I declare this base there, please look for it. If I comment this very image, now if I remove it, call it comment, let's go to the browser. That image is no more there. And that's why we have this very HTML5 logo. If you look at down here, we use what I call alternate. That's the duty of alternate. When the image location, the image connection is not true, when the image cannot show, the alternate will present whatever that is there. If I want this thing to show without using the base element, what I'll do is to put the right connection, which is this. There's an image there, the image. Inside it, there's base image. Let me save this and look at the browser and see what happens. So now it's not the image. Inside it, I have sample and I save. Let me save it and see what happens at the browser. Our image is back because we have done the connection. But if I have 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 images, I don't want to put this folder. If I don't want to put this connection, I remove it. When I save, it has gone out. Reason because I commented this. When I come here and uncomment this, I save. 2 of them are back. So I'm trying to use all these illustrations to explain to you the function of this base. This href here is telling you where to get your images and where to get your link to. When we go to image, I'll use this base in the page. I will do the normal page for a normal connection in image, and I will introduce this base, then play more. So if you didn't get it here, please try to see me in image. I'll definitely try to do it. If not from the beginning, I'll do it at the end. So if you're online, if you are going online, then you can use this very one here. The same thing. What he's saying is this, that if you stop at the image folder, whatever I have as image in my web, in my page, is inside this folder. That is why the connection is like that. It stopped here. As it stopped here, the next one should be the item. But what if I remove this image here and save? Let me shift this side. I save. The images have disappeared. That thing I removed, then I come here, put it here. Let's save and see what happens. I put in the first one. Saving it is bringing us back to this. I put it here, saving it, and it's giving us our image back. So it means you can subtract that one, then put it in the other place. This is the location where our file is. Then I'm telling the browser, say, look, if you get to that location, there's a folder called image. Inside the image, you see HTML5 logo, and it's a JPEG image. If you go to image, you see sample.jpg. Show it to the browser. That is exactly what happened. If you look at this, if you look at the screen, you realize we have done both these elements and attributes. I'm through the page, but let me not forget to tell you, if you do this to the images, it will affect your link. I've not treated link, but link is in my channel. You definitely see link. It's a very good topic for HTML, not CSS. It will also, if you put it where there is link, it will affect the link because it will also affect the location. This with the location. So if you are doing it, you are stopping here. It means if you do it and stop here, just like I put this folder where you can find image, your what they call the folder for the link will also carry the folder that is to continue. To be a continuation. That if you get to my page, you will see an image folder inside it, there are image. Then here, if it's for the link, you tell the sender, look, if you get there, for example, now let's say we have link. If you don't do it that way, that page will not connect. Let's say we have our link. When we mention make link, we deal with anchor tag. That's the first thing, your A. Let's say we have something like this, showing us this, what do you call it? Let's say bot or color. Let's say color. Inside color, we have this. Then I save. Then I give it a name, say color page, minimize. Here, there's a link down there. And let me also copy this and paste here so as to give us chance to see at the browser. This link now, I'll click on it. It's linking us to whatever we have in mind in a new page. The question is that why did it lead us to a new page? It's because of this target attribute here. This is the page where we've been dealing with. But when we click on this color page, it opens a blank page. Okay, so when you click it, it opens in a new page. What causes it? I'm not here to explain it, but I have to do that. Is this target? So this target that is blank is saying anytime is click on, open them in a new page. All right, let me not go into that link with the base for now. When we get to link, we'll remember it. We do 1 or 2 things about it. I want you to look at this very page we have here. I've done base. The title, I don't have much to say about this title because here we have our text head section element. That's what you see at the title of the browser. Up there you have a head section element. Is there for you. That's what we see in the title. That's the duty of the title. Whatever you put in that title element, in between the opening and closing tag, it will just display here. That's this function to display here. Whatever you put in that head in this title is what you see here. Here we'll have head section element. That's this function. I've done that. After that, tag is the CSS. We have 3 major types of CSS. We have inline CSS. Look at what happened here in the image. I put my width and my height. This thing is a CSS. It's a CSS, but it's inside the line, inside the element image. And because inside the element image, we call it inline CSS. Called inline CSS. Not teaching CSS, please. Inline CSS. But the one we put here inside this style, instead of putting it inside the line, so that is inline. Then I can put CSS here, which you call internal CSS. Then I can also internal CSS, inline CSS, internal CSS, and the last one there is external CSS. These are 3 types of CSS we will see by the time we get to CSS. So this one you have seen here is inline. And the one you put inside this style, remember, it is the explanation of this style, what it's doing. Put it inside this space. Put it inside this space. That is exactly what we do. When it is inside this place, it's called internal. Then when it's on a separate sheet, here I save this file with element02.html. that one to be saved with maybe element02.css. It has its own file extension. That is the external CSS. So the external CSS is what we'll have here. You see this one is called mascot.css. That's the name of the file. It will link it. So this link is linking external CSS. Then the style here is there for you for internal CSS. Then inline CSS you put inside the line, just like the one you have. I don't think there's any other thing I have to tell you. But if I do, remember, I'll let you know. And if you do, if you remember, you can drop in the comment section so we can handle it. But I'll give you at least something that will help you start building a page. They're not seen at the browsers, but they are very important in a web page. That is where I'm going to stop for today. Please, I want to tell you, it's very important. You'll be the first to get. Having gone this far, thank you for following me. This is our channel, Mascot Media Video. By name, I'm Gilbert Angonye, presenting this very thing to you. It's my pleasure to have you here, and I'm happy you have gone with us up to this level. If you value this tutorial very much, please enable to click that like button, share to friends, and don't forget to subscribe. These are things that will make our channel grow. Like I always say, this channel is new, but I tell you that whatever we're teaching here is not new. But we are trying to put it in a better place, the better position, so that you can easily understand what we are doing here. We are teachers, and we are teaching. We are presenting the best to you, using the best approach. An approach that will make it easier for you to follow in what we're doing. That's what we can solve for now. Thank you.